just riffin'. Tuesday night, 8:30 EST. Know where we be, just riffin'. Special guest, a tech and talk, a musicology, just riffin'. Coming to you live at the same time, here every week, just riffin'. Jump in the room, let's chop it up. It really ain't that deep, just riffin'.
Yes. What's up? Just Riffin. We're back. It's another Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We doing it live. I'm one of your co-hosts, Hafner. I got my boy Cookie Rabinowitz, a.k.a. J6. The dream team is here. We're live. We got an awesome guest tonight. Somebody that's really, really amazing in art. Just an all-around good dude. Just a real dude. And he's got a sick shooter. I'm saying like he's got a sick jump shot. You know what I'm saying? We got Coldie with us tonight. So welcome everybody to Just Riffin. Cookie Rabinowitz, what's cooking with you, bro? I'm telling you, we got to do that cooking with Cookie, bro. Cooking with Cookie.
I like it. You know, I like it. I'm working on something with that. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to surprise you on the next show. I'm working on cooking with Cookie for sure. And, you know, I was telling you earlier, a tree fell. And, you know, if a tree falls and while you're doing burpees, and no one sees it, does it still make a sound? I don't know.
It does. And if you were doing burpees, then you must. Did you record it?
It did come out, but the thing is, so when I posted it, so this is what happened. I did my first 10 burpees, and then the tree fell right in between. Like I do a set of 10, then a little break, like a few seconds, and then another set. So in between the first set and second set, I hear, and I actually put that in the video of the thing. But it scared me because my dogs were out playing, and I was like, oh shit, like what if they're under this tree that's about to fall? And my one dog, Lola, she you know, she's my best buddy, but she was literally running right around there, but she didn't get hit by the tree, which was good. And I don't know, it was interesting, but it was a tree in my neighbor's yard. So they're being a little irresponsible with their tree grooming. Is that what it's called? Tree grooming? I don't know.
What do I know? Yeah, we got to ask the tree people for sure.
Ask the people of the trees.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. So you're doing this 100-day challenge for wrecked drinks, right? This is correct. So it's 100 burpees and 100, or what? Not 100 days, 100 burpees a day until Christmas.
Yes,
until Christmas. Okay, this is amazing. So, wait a second. So you're doing this, and you're on like day 50 or 60?
Today was day 56.
Day 56.
I don't know how many days there are altogether. I think it's like, because whenever, the funny thing is, I don't think it has anything to do with rec drinks, but I saw a post, you know, OSF, you know, made, and it was like, hey, it was a challenge to do burpees. And I was looking for something different to try to, you know, just to try to get active and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, you know? So
you're doing it, bro.
You know what? I got to say, and, it's been a game changer for me as far as the way I feel. Like there's something about, before I was running, so I canceled it. I would run 3 miles a day. So I stopped running 3 miles a day, and instead I'm doing these burpees. And I got to say, the burpees take about half as long as the 3 mile run took, maybe even a little less than that.
And probably do better for you.
If they feel way more impactful, like it's doing way better. And a lot, I can't even explain it, but there's some kind of secret fountain of energy there. Maybe it's just because I'm doing something different. Maybe I plateaued on running because I did it for so long. Yeah. But I would encourage anybody to try to do a couple burpees, because I'm into day 56 and they suck really bad while I'm doing them. But the rest of the day feels great though. So
okay, but you're on day 56 and you're doing 100 burpees a day. Has at any point during that time till now, has it gotten any easier, or like your stamina, or you still feel the same way when you're doing them from the beginning?
That's a very interesting question, because I'll tell you what, and it just goes to show the synergy in the universe, because it's exactly like the chart of a good stock, or a good meme coin, or a good cryptocurrency. It's like, you know, it's one day I feel great, the next day, oh shit, and the next day. But if you zoom out, it's definitely, I should be going this way because of the screen. But if you zoom out, it's definitely on a trajectory to upwards and over the top. you know? So
Ah,
it's exactly like one of those charts. It goes down, up, but it's definitely zoom out and it's going up.
you're definitely going up. Yeah, yeah. On a max, if you look at it on the max, I like it. I would like to see your chart while you're doing it live.
Mhm.
Your live burpee chart. No, that's great, though, and mighty noble of you. And it's way, way more than what I could even imagine. To even do it. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's here watching and listening to us ramble on here. It's J6 and I, Cookie Rabinowitz and Hefner. This is Just Riffin. We have a special guest on our show today, Coldie. Our show is always powered by Rug Radio, and KIM always presents us as well. KIM stands for Keep It Moving, if you didn't know. So keep it moving always, as we are doing, and as J6 is doing, aka Cookie Rabinowitz, doing his burpees every day, 100 burpees a day. I might burp 100 times a day, maybe. I think, I don't know. So I don't know if that counts for anything, but yeah, that's that. So what has been good with you? What in your world besides doing the burpees? Any new music? Have you made anything exciting? Anything that we're going to be able to hear soon?
Well, just a side little anecdote. I took the opportunity of the burpees thing to where I have to put a little better music. See, nope. Now, first off, I know nobody's watching these videos. It's pretty much just something I'm doing just to have
Mm-hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for. When you commit to
Yeah,
something,
people
like
watching.
I don't think so. But what I do is before, I mean, when I throw the video, I throw the video in there, and then I real quick open up Ableton. I grab my guitar, and then I make a real quick 30-second or 40-second music thing. So I'm doing a new piece of music every day and putting it with it. Now it's not like a song or it's not something professional. It's actually some of the stuff really sucks. But what inspired me is I saw the quote that everybody knows about Beeple's every days, right? And how he does a piece of art every day. And I saw the original, he put a descriptor somewhere on that of why he did it. And I was like, that seems like a really good challenge, especially for somebody like me. Because when I make music, I never really go under any type of time restraint. I just kind of veg out and have fun. I just like the way the guitar feels under my strings, or the strings feel under my fingers, is what I wanted to say. Even if I'm not really playing anything, I just love the process. I enjoy it. And but sometimes because of that, I end up lollygagging instead of actually finishing things. So this burpee challenge has inspired me to make music quickly and just throw it up there. And it's not really, like I said, it's songs, some of it's garbage, but some of it's pretty cool. And I'm sure some of it's going to end up on some new music that I'm putting out, later in December. So it's
That's what I
cool.
wanted to get to. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, are you going to be utilizing that music for anything besides just adding them to the videos? Like, are they leading to something? So that's great. I think that's going to be awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. And one other thing too, because of the time crunch of that, because I usually have maybe 20 minutes or a half an hour to put together. It's been definitely, even though I've been working in Ableton. I think I started on Ableton 4, and Ableton is on Ableton 12 now. And I've been playing guitar and stuff
Wow.
like that even for many. And I've been an instrumentalist for way before even you could record on computers. I've been a musician, a songwriter. So, but I wanted to say though, so even though I've been doing it a while, this new challenge of just making music quickly and putting it up, it's getting me way quicker at making music. And I think to
Interesting.
keep up with the world, you have to learn how to work fast and efficiently. And this is something that I've struggled with in the past. So it's fun for me. It's been fun for me, and it's been game changing.
That's awesome. That's great. I think that's just fantastic that you are, first of all, that you're doing the exercising and you're recording it, and that it inspired you that much there to where you add your original music to what you're doing, and that it's going to turn into something from nothing. That was just a thought. I shouldn't say nothing, but it was a thought. So, from something to something. So, or something greater, I should say. That's great.
For sure. Hey,
So,
real quick, I'm
sure.
excited to bring Coldie up, but I mean, how long have you been now? So you've been back in Florida for what, about 2 weeks now?
Yeah, almost. I'm in my third week back. Yeah, it feels good. Everything's been the weather has been cool. We had the hurricane kind of, you know, didn't really pass through here where we're at. It was more up north, but we did get some of that gusty wind. And then it was pretty much done. And it's, normal, typical South Florida weather where it's, raining. It's real tropical down here and rains all the time. And yeah, we don't get an ounce of cold.
But
But we
we
will
got
tonight. We got Coldie on the show.
Good.
Did I beat you to the punch? That's awesome.
Man, yeah, it's okay. But
All
yeah,
right,
that's
so
exciting stuff. Though, go ahead. Sorry, man.
yeah, no, all good. And I wanted to thank Line Trash again. Just came through with the flyer, with the art for the flyer this week with Coldie. You definitely need to look at it with your 3D glasses. And Coldie, well, maybe he'll give away how to look at it, how to really get a good look at it. You know what I'm saying? You got to bend your body a little bit. All right, so I want to go to this, and then we'll bring up Coldie. You ready for it? The 2-minute tune-up, where Hefner and J6 have 2 minutes exactly to respond to each other's topic of the week. Just riffing. All right, 2-minute tune-up. I'm going to go this time, okay? Because I was thinking about it. So, time is short. It goes by very fast. Find something that you love. Be passionate about it. Stick to it. Ride out with it. There's going to be downs. There's going to be ups. What makes you stronger is fighting through the downs. Just stay passionate, stay steady, stay focused, and don't think about it. Time is really here, not here. I use this because I have to clock in and clock out during the day. So that's why I use that. But really, time is within. So be passionate, love the people around you, make sure you hug your family, call your loved ones if you haven't called them in a while. It's very important to do that as we get older. We see this more. The youth, you don't really see it because you're out and about and you're on TikTok and doing all types of different things on social media. So you sometimes don't have time for calling your fam, but do it. It's very important because you'll be on this side saying the same thing when you get to be our age, my age, whatever. So just do it and forget about it. That's my 2-minute tune-up. That's my 2 minutes. Yeah.
Great. I love it. It's good stuff, man. I
That's
mean,
right.
I pretty much have the same philosophy. It's pretty much like, get money, fuck bitches, right?
I love it, man. All right. On that note, the comedic stylings of Cookie Rabinowitz. All right, everybody. Just riffing. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We do it every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This person that we're bringing up is an amazing artist. Stereoscopic 3D art, physical and digital. Just phenomenal at what he does. This is a guy where I say time, he threw it out the window. He's passionate about what he does, and he does it. And wherever it leads, it's going to lead. It's going to get there. And he'll get there with it, or it'll get him there. Either way, this gentleman is spectacular at what he does. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Coldie to the stage. Coldie, welcome to Just Riffin.
What's up, man? Thank you. I'm blushing.
Yeah.
No, it's great to be here. We've already been shooting the shit for a while, so I'm really looking forward to this. Kindred spirits. That 2-minute talk was so fucking right on. So we're riffing it, and I love it. This is cool. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Word up. All right, so I want to tell everybody a little bit here before we start, Coldie, that there's a few things in today that are significant and that are, I guess, running around in 360, right? So I met Coldie at our house for Art Basel at Rug Radio's Our House, and it was in between people coming and going pretty much. So it was like a quiet. There was not really many people there. And so I'm like, I don't know, probably smoked a half a joint, and I'm out, picked up the basketball and I'm shooting hoops. And then all of a sudden some dude comes over and he starts shooting hoops with me. And I'm like, oh, what's up? We're bullshitting, talking. I'm like, oh, what's your name? He's like, I'm Coldie. I'm like, what? You're Coldie? Like, your artwork is over here, Coldie? Like, Coldie? He's like, yes. And I'm like, oh shit. And next thing you know, I cannot shoot anymore. Like I'm just asking him question after question, and he's fucking dropping dimes, everybody. Like if you don't know, Coldie's got fucking game. He's got game. He could fucking shoot. If I had a team, I'd pick him up first now that I know that he can shoot. You wouldn't expect it.
I want to
by looking at him.
I want to reiterate, Hef, that
he's sick.
He said this to me right after, like pretty much right after this happened. So he's not just saying this on the show. Like he said this on the phone. I was talking to him on the phone because I wasn't in Florida at the time, and he was like, "Yo, you wouldn't believe it. I just was like shooting baskets, and he was really good, you know." But
and you were making every shot, dude. And so where it comes full circle here. First of all, you're not back on the show, but you're on the show with us tonight. Okay. And basketball season started tonight.
Yep.
Ironically enough. All right. So that's my full circle. Coldie, so welcome to our show. Welcome again. I'm so happy that you're able to be with us here tonight. You got a lot of things that you've been doing throughout the years. You know, when you first started, you know, I did mention time earlier, you know, on the 2-minute tune-up, and you know, you're the type of artist to me that just throws that time out of the window. But you did start somewhere, doodling, or however you started doing your art. When you started to do it, did you have a vision on how you wanted to finish, or do you just start a project, start something, and then see where it gets to?
Oh man, I'm having like a bunch of flashbacks right now. You know, growing up as a kid, I wasn't like into art. I wasn't like I think I was definitely creative, but I was always doing sports, right? That's where the jumper came from, right? So I was always doing sports and that kind of thing, but I was always creatively like, you know, sound. And I remember actually happened two things early on. My grandparents had one of these old, well, our generation, the Macintosh computers, like the tan box ones.
Yeah.
So they had one of those. My grandpa was always pretty techie, so he had one of those. When I would come over there, like I think I was like 3 or 4. There's not a whole lot to do at grandma's house, right? So I was like, hey, can we get the computer up? I want to play. Can I play with the computer? And the only thing I could do is paint, Mac Paint. And I vividly remember it. And you go over on the toolbar and you click the single button, and it's the brick wall pattern. And I fucking every time started with a brick wall, right? And I don't know what it was, but I didn't want to draw in white. I felt like I could do graffiti. It was like literally a response to graffiti at like 3. And I was just nothing of any value. It was just weird scribbles and lines. But that was like the formative digital art start, right? I did that before I probably, you know, was painting at school or anything, you know.
That's incredible. That was on the computer. It was like it was green. The screen was green, right?
Yeah, this was the very first version to go into the 8 whatever normal color.
Gotcha.
But I did a lot of Oregon Trail on the green screens. I know we're all the same generation. It looks like.
Yeah.
No offense, we all look great, but yeah, you know, tech back then was just different, and I think I gravitated towards that. Maybe
you feel like you grew up in that digital era, like of where it was like the beginning stages. That you tapped into the beginning stages of what is digital art, you know, because you were messing with it at such a young age.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing was, so that didn't happen all the time, but I'd play on the computer here and there. My parents had these old 3D viewers. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
Let me grab it because we're on video, so hold on.
Oh, he's got it. By the way, this piece that's behind them is really, really cool. That you see it glowing in the background. I don't want to give anything away, but this is a really, really cool story behind that piece there. He's got some incredible pieces too. That Coldie piece up top. And I can't remember what that elbow is, that V shape. I remember it being a big thing on crypto Twitter, and people were, you know, it went for some money. I forget the name of it. Oh, what has he got? What do we got?
All right. Okay. Have you ever seen
one
of
show
these?
and tell over here.
Wow.
You ever seen one of these before?
No, that I have not. What the fuck
looks
is
like
this?
that's like 1920s, bro.
Yeah, 1910, 20s.
Oh, it is.
Early.
Wow.
So, quick fact, Muybridge, who invented the photograph, Edward Muybridge, like a week or two after he figured out regular photography, he figured out 3D photography. Like
wow. A week after?
Giga brain. Like, who thinks of that, right? So what he basically, the way 3D works is you have two pictures side by side, okay? And then just like your eyes, that's how we have 3D vision. We have perspective and it melds it together. That's 3D, right? So that's the same thing with this. You put it up to your eyes and look through the viewfinder. It's like, this is VR in 1910, basically.
That's incredible.
And this, my parents had, not this exact one, but we've had a couple of these. They had one in the house somehow. Like grandma had it and showed up at our house. I was looking at these when I was like 10.
That's incredible.
And that, like, I somehow, like, the universe was conspiring for a very, very long time.
For sure.
And then it went to the Viewmasters. This is like
this. I remember.
80s. These
you
were
put
popular.
the disc in it.
You got the disc.
Yeah. What's in there? What are you watching? What are you looking at?
Another crazy story. Okay.
Let's hear it.
I'm having one of these moments where I look back in my 3D past, right? And I remember I had this Batman reel. It was from Adam West Batman. Okay.
Wow. Damn, look at this. That's like the pow. Kapow.
Yeah, they got the pals and the oofs, and it's the 60s with the leotards and shit.
Yeah, it's great.
So I had this reel, and I remember I must have looked at this thing a fucking 1,000 times. I knew the order because there's 7 pictures. I knew what was going to come next. It was just ingrained in my brain, right? So I was like, I should try to find that reel, like on eBay or something. Okay. Right. I go on eBay, I type it in, and there's only one Batman reel. But it's the exact same one that I had. This is the exact 7 photos that I remembered.
Insane.
So like, wow. So I fucking bought that, and then when it showed up and I went through it, I knew what was coming next. It was like time travel, dude. It's fucking time travel machine.
That's incredible.
Cool.
So that is the weird thing about like my, it's funny. You guys asked me questions about where I came up with it all, and it was just life's experiences that happened to overlap in a way that worked for me later. Right? It's beyond like even figuring out why. It's just like, wow, like I'm so happy all of these things lined up that got me like, then when I owned that I wanted to be an artist, right? I was doing graphic design and art direction for, 15 years, just working your way up, doing the ladder and getting responsibilities and cooler projects. And, it's cool.
Did you feel like that when you were like doing it? Did you feel that way? Or did you feel like you just always had your freedom?
Yeah, exactly. It was half and half. Like I tried to do the most fun projects I could get away with doing. Right. So whatever job I'm at, I'm pitching the dream. Right. And if they say no, then I'll just scale it down. Right. But I'm always, what can you get away with?
Yeah. Push it.
You got a budget. I will spend it. Right.
That's a real artist right there. That's right.
So, but along the way, it is that thing where you're sitting in a cube and you're like, oh, like, man, I feel like so much time is not my own right now. Right. And I think that I just started shifting the scale a little bit by a little bit, right? Where it was 100% working and that's all I did. And then maybe I would add 10% time at the end of the day, and make art. Right. So then all of a sudden there's a shift in balance. And then, if you're able to go half and half or, start working your way into it, it was more attainable than going cold turkey. And I needed the time and the reps to continue my like art evolution. Cookie, like you're talking about with your music, same fucking thing, right? You're doing reps. You're fucking doing by quantity, you get better, right? You don't just fucking become Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You got to fucking do some reps. So that's kind of how I went to On the Balance. And then eventually I did make the jump where I went full-time art, and that's fucking not easy. Like,
how nerve-wracking was that when you actually were like, all right, I'm diving in, no pun intended to.
Yeah. No, I dove in, and I waited as long as I could until I was losing too much time at the day job as compared to commitments in the art world. Like, it just was getting too much. Right. So
yeah, I want to stop you here for a second. So you're in this like house of doing art, in so to speak, you're working for somebody, right? And were you, during the time while you were doing that, were you also trying to sneak your work into, like, did you ever try to find time while you were working, doing other things to try and push yourself further, even though you were working for somebody else? Did you push that? And it's okay if you want to plead the fifth on it, I get it, but
dude,
did you try?
The place I left threw me a going away party art show, so they love me. They would not be surprised.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I would say I probably got more ballsy as time went on, because again, if you're a quarter way up the ladder, they catch you fucking pumping your shit on Facebook or whatever, MySpace.
Yeah.
It was too risky.
You're like milking it to the last second.
Yeah. I mean, I will.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to interject on that, based off of that question that Hef asked. I'm really curious. Was it also a decision that you were just like, so let's say today, were you like, on such and such a date, I'm just going to say, fuck it, and I'm going to dive all the way in? Or was it just like today? Like, how concise and your conviction to that decision? Was it on one day, or you said, okay, on this day, if that makes any sense,
It was kind of like a feeling, right? Where I knew it was like a wave that was building. I knew at some point the right wave was going to come up and I was going to ride it. But so the way I broke it to my boss, I never brought up anything about NFTs or any of that, really. Some nerdy thing I do. And this was when the wave seemed to make sense. I had just been in New York Times Magazine, and my art was in there. There was quotes from me, like, it was a nice little feature. And I got that, and I was like, oh, man. And I was already getting really close to being done. I was like, this is how I'm going to drop it. Like, I got to go out with a reason. So I showed it to my boss. I was like, hey, check out what I'm in. It came out today or yesterday. She's like, what? She's like, she knew I was creative and I'd always share my 3D stuff in fun, but like, she's like, whoa. I was like, yeah, isn't that cool? Right. And I just kind of took off.
That's amazing.
And then I put in my notice like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But she told me she knew as soon as she saw that was done. she knew I was out.
Yeah, of course. But that's incredible though.
Yeah. I really tried to be conscientious about that, because it's a big shift, but it's all been for the better, like, I do have more time to experiment, which I find leads me to unknown opportunities, right? It's just having space and time creates opportunity. And I can totally say that since I've left, I've had that. And some of the ideas that have come from it have been like, might have been hard to come up with while like
being stifled by on somebody else's time.
Yeah, just stuck in like totally in a cage. That maybe it just set me free in different ways, but
yeah. When you think of doing art, do you think physical first, then digital, or do you think digital first and then can I make a physical out of this?
It's funny, before NFTs, I was doing physical digital art on canvas, and I was getting those into shows. So I was doing, like, this is a piece I did. So it's anaglyph with 3D glasses.
Oh yeah.
But then I blowtorched the canvas and gold leafed it.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to say, everybody. Coldie is a one of a kind to me artist, dude, because you do stuff like that. You do stuff, you take risks. You're not an artist that's in a box. You know, so yeah, I'm just happy that you're on the show and chatting with us because you are that dude. You are that type of person that creates cool shit. And it's art. Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm not saying that to myself when I'm making it, it's not.
You're just doing it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to impress myself. Like, I'm just like, there's like not a competition, but like, I'm always like.
Are you a perfectionist? Do you overly look at it?
I've gotten much better. I mean, perfectionist in terms of like a critique.
Yeah. Like, you're like, that fire hydrant just doesn't look right, and you're going over and over and over again, or you erase it. Like, how critical are you?
A little bit, I guess. I mean, the one great thing about this process, trying to look for an example. It's a super fucking delicate process. It's called an image transfer. So you put gel on a canvas with ink and it soaks into the canvas. It's like this very.
Where did you come up with this? What? I mean, we do have some good marijuana nowadays, but like, where did you come up with this concept and idea to know that it would work? What?
So at all hats off to my crazy ass art one teacher or something in art school. Like, she was this insane lady who huffed way too many chemicals over the years, but she had the fucking best processes, and this was one of them. And I'm not a painter, right? I love splattering paint, but if I painted you a face, it wouldn't really look like a real face. So I knew that I worked with images in different ways, and I was also digital. So she's like, yeah, you could take a photograph, you take whatever and do such and such and do the thing, and there it is. And I was like, fucking hot damn. Like, that's it. It's like screen printing without, it's not screen printing, but it's a way to do that in a sense. It's fucking fun. But when you're doing the gel, it's like wafer thin, like 32nd of an inch, right? Fucking thin. And if it's not properly adhered to the canvas, it flakes off when you touch it because you're like rubbing on top of it. So I was kind of a perfectionist because I wanted it to be perfect, right? And on my very first piece, I was just trying. I'd never done it before. I had no idea. I was doing it, and a square of it just flaked away and it was gone. And at first I was like, oh, fuck, I ruined it. But I'd already been burnishing for 20 hours. So I was like, you know what, just finish this thing and then you'll know how to do the next one better, right? Somehow it turned out fucking great. I gold leafed it. It has this little blemish on it. And that right there, like, taught me everything I needed to know about the creative process, managing expectations, problem solving, and making another one. That's it.
And they're different all the time.
Rinse and repeat. Just, just try it again.
Yeah. Same process.
Kind of with like that, like happy accidents, like the blemish was kind of like, hey, it's cool,
Yeah. That led to the burning. So, okay, we got time. I'll tell you one more little anecdote. So it might have been the second one. So I was 1 for 1. I was stoked. Well, okay, I'm going to try a bigger piece, right? This later became an NFT, actually. Sick ass piece. It's got like a skyscraper where I used to live in downtown LA, and above it were a shit ton of UFOs hovering in the sky. Okay. So I used to smoke weed and do that. Just walk around downtown LA just pretending there's UFO invasions. It was great. So I made a piece about that. And I was doing it for like 20 hours, 30 hours again, doing the thing, like meditating. You have to have no stimulus. Like, you have to listen to the gel, right? and something happened, and we're talking like a third of it just detached and was gone. And I was like, that's a big problem. That's not a little blemish. That's a whole nother story. So the defeatist in me was like, well, you fucked up. I took it, and I'll never forget this. I put it in the trash can. Okay.
Wow.
And I was looking at it, and I was like, that was a big moment. I was like, okay, is this trash? You know? And I literally like stood there for probably like 5 minutes, just like having this existential thought. And I was like, no, it's not fucking trash. I pulled it out, and I had to figure out what to do with this huge white, ugly canvas. So I don't know where it came from, but it made total sense. I'm going to blowtorch that shit, and I'm going to burn it away. I don't know where it came from, but like I did it. And then that's sold in a gallery in my local town, like 15 years ago. Some lady got it for like $600. Wow. And I got a check for $420, and I was laughing so fucking hard. And I actually know the lady who bought it because we live in a small town. She didn't know me, but I know of her. It was great.
That's really cool. What's this here that I got on the screen?
Oh shit, that is of that exact era. So put those 3D glasses on. This is an anaglyph.
If you got 3D glasses at home, everybody, put them on. I'll leave this up on the screen for a minute.
Oh, this is fucking sick.
This is called Lower Orbit.
Oh my God.
By Coldie.
Yo, just for anybody listening out there, this is way better 3D than Jaws 3D that I saw in the
yes,
right.
I'm always very hypercritical.
Tell us what's going on. Like, what was the process? How did you create this?
Okay, so the buildings, I got a skyscraper book, like a coffee table book, and I took the skyscraper images and I went to Kinko's and I did this slide thing where you use a photocopy machine and then you pull the image. So it makes them way distorted and fucked up.
Interesting.
So that's how I made my, I guess, generative buildings.
Oh, fucking
shit. And then the UFO, like famous UFO book.
So cool, man.
Yo, that one ship, I took it off.
That one ship flew like right at my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell us? I know this might be an artist secret, but can you tell us your process on how you actually do the animation? Like, where do you start?
I mean, there's no like, there's no. Oh, I see the process of it.
Yeah, like, how do you start to get to? How does it get to where it's that?
Yeah, sure. So I guess you would. I would say sketch, but I kind of mentally sketch. Okay. I'll kind of like get the layout in my head of like overall kind of saves me time. I don't need to fucking do diminishing lines. I can just fucking think about it. And then, usually just do your, you get your elements, right? And it's like the flat design, right? So you do your flat design, kind of be like, is that the vibe I like? Okay. And then you go into, like this one would be an After Effects thing. So you bring your layers in, and then After Effects, you can animate the different layers. And then you got your movement, right? And then this one's harder because it's stereo. So I got to do all the stereo conversions. That part, I mean, that's the only hard part.
There's so much that goes into this. This is just crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's probably like 5 or 6 steps. Yeah.
Yeah, but like just the process, you have to, the time that it takes really that you put into that process to get that output.
Let me ask you this. So the actual 3D effect, is that what you call the stereoscopy? Is that now when you're doing that, because like you see different levels of this, like, and like that what I just saw was like really, like it really, these shitty Amazon glasses really, it worked. Like that shit worked, I was gonna say, what, like when you're in this process, do you like do you wear glasses while you're making it, or do you just
good question, I like it.
Yeah. No, when it gets to 3D time, I could say I would probably know what it looked like 50% without wearing the glasses, because it's a lot of math. You know, it's a lot of math and like
offset
fractals, but it's like layers, right? So like integers, right? So it's basically integers. So I know in a sense what it's going to look like, but it looks way better, and you know you can fine tune it more when you have the glasses on.
Cool. Yeah. And then so you can fine tune. That was going to be the other part of my question. If like once you go through the process and then you get to that point on the glasses point, can you still reel it in if it wasn't quite what you thought it was?
Oh yeah. That stuff. Yeah. At this point, I kind of know the limits, you know, because there's technical barriers where, for many nerdy reasons, it won't work anymore. So there's a gauge of space, but I'm always trying to push it. Like you said, that UFO came out at you. I guarantee you, I made it come out as far as it technically could before it quit working. Right. So that's like the magician trick, right? Where it's like, I know exactly where to get you so that you believe it. Right.
It was believable for sure, man.
Good.
It was pretty cool. Hef, I'm sending you. I got these off of Amazon a bunch of them. I'm sending you a pair, man. You gotta check it.
I need to see what you guys are seeing for sure. This is just, to me, is, you know, incredible, and the way that you bridge the digital with the physical on some of these things, you know, just amazing. You know, there's just a real tangible style, I guess, experience for, you know, whoever's looking at it, you know, the viewer. Really awesome stuff, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really all I want to do. You know.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. This is amazing. You have the gift. You have that creativity that allows you to do that.
Yeah. The other fun thing I do is early on this is
it's cameras.
2 cameras.
Okay.
So my other love affair is 3D concert photography. And
what does anybody know? I mean, have you put stuff out?
Very, very little. It's funny. I put probably my best photo ever. I don't know why I decided to sell that one first, but I have this amazing photo on. If you look on Super Rare, or I could look as well.
Yeah, tell me, what's it called?
Wayne. Just type in Flaming Lips Wayne. Should get it.
Whoops. The hell? Wayne.
Like Wayne coin.
Oh wait, what just happened? I clicked on it.
I got it. Oh, here, help up share. Oh wow. Wait, no, is this?
There's a guy in a ball.
Yeah.
Hang on one second, guys. I see it here. Okay, there it is. Yes. Hold on one second. It's on some fucking David Blaine shit here. Hang on. Is that you, Coldie, in the ball like that?
Yeah, that's it.
How long did you stay in the ball, Coldie?
Oh man, I wish that was me. So I shot a Flaming Lips show. This was 2011, I think. And they let me photograph the entire show, which is pretty rare for a band. Usually it's
first of all, let me back up. How do you get the gig? Who do you know?
Oh yeah, this is a doozy. So been to thousands of shows in my life, right? We're talking about the concert posters. I'm always at shows and I'm there early if it's GA because I want to be in the front. Especially in my 20s. Like when I had time, I would do it. So I was always in the front, and then I'd be waiting there for 8 hours to get in the front, right? And then the photographers come in, and you know, I'm a creative dude. I like to shoot photos. And I was like, how are these guys getting? I want to do that. I want to hop over the rail and do what you guys are doing, right? So here's what I concocted. I created my own 3D magazine, okay? Because I'm a graphic designer, easy peasy. Got a 3D magazine, and I was publisher. I had a buddy do some writing, but it was just my 3D photos. And I used that to pitch publicists to get photo passes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it worked. And the only reason I got in, and I got lots of no's over the years, but the reason I would get the yes was because it was 3D and it was weird.
And different, and no one's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I told them my readership is very small right now. I have some people who like it, but I think this is pretty cool shit. And in the future, I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Right? That was my pitch.
I think it's conceptual, man. Honestly, I mean, yeah, 3D has been around for a long time, but how you do what you do with it is what makes the difference. And I think that's awesome.
It's been out since here. Like, it's been out. No one missed the train. You can't say that I wasn't around. Like, your grandma wasn't even around.
Yeah, dude, that is great though. Okay, so I want to see. I know you probably are you gonna be releasing anything? Are you allowed to? Are you allowed to?
No, release? I totally am. So I am like the most conscientious person. Don't want to like use any. Like it's like what's the sacred ground with a photograph? And we've seen it actually in NFT space, and it's well known in the concert photographer world. If you make a photo, and this is not legal advice, but if you take a photograph and you have an edition that's reasonable, right? 10, 25, something modest, not trying to be an asshole, but
not an open edition.
Yeah, exactly. But if you sell it to a couple people, they're buying it because it's a photograph that you took of a person, then that's collectible, right? You can't, like you said, you can't go to Walmart and print 100,000 of these things, right?
Right.
So with all that being said, I absolutely do have a series coming out. It's one of those series that takes a while to put together, right? Because I got to kind of curate and then make a whole bunch of file types. It's going to be fantastic. It's all ready to go. I even shot a little doc for it already. It's in good shape.
Wow, yeah. You're really taking it there. Okay.
And these are important. These are like even for posterity, right? Like I need to document for myself why I was doing these things and what just so that when I got a grandkid or something, I can fucking put on his VR set or something.
and you got a cool story to tell.
Yeah. But it's a dynamic collection. I actually had a small showing with these at Gazelle Art House in London. They do a lot with VR and 3D. They gave me a physical and digital show, and I had them. Oh, actually, hold on, you can see something else.
This is Show and Tell with Coldie. By the way, everybody, you're listening to Just Riffin. We do it every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, powered by Rug Radio. Whoa, there's a glare, but that's really cool.
So,
is that lenticular?
That's lenticular, yeah.
Lenticular. Oh, that's so awesome, bro.
You can't tell because there's a glare, but
yeah, there's a glare.
What's happening is the 3D happens without a lens. So,
I love that.
Yeah, the lenticulars are beautiful. I love them.
Yeah. Do you like hip hop?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so big ups to Tribe.
Real hip hop, yes.
Yeah, real hip hop. Okay, so big ups to Tribe Called Quest because Tribe Called Quest just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So props. Cool. I grew up listening to these guys. These are my heroes. They had an album called Beats, Rhymes, and Life that was lenticular.
No shit.
Really? They had a lenticular. I want to say the CD cover was one of them was lenticular.
I will find that.
Yeah,
guys.
Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm ChatGPT what lenticular is.
It's really cool the process how you guys artists make it, or how the process of it being done, and the effect of it is really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's movement in an image.
Yeah, I mean physically for 3D, that's the jam because you don't need glasses. It's full color 3D, and you get more of an effect.
And you get a workout because you're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put some wrist weights on.
Yeah, for sure. I want to stay on this the topic of music and photography and music. You have a really cool piece that's behind you that's glowing in blue, and there's a story behind this piece. And I would love for you to share this with everybody who's watching tonight about the story of this piece, because it does also have to do with music.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Let me pop you the link. It'll make a lot more sense.
Okay.
So there's a lot So, okay. Today happens to be the anniversary of Pearl Jam's first concert ever. And being a child of the 90s, I love Pearl Jam. They were like my Grateful Dead band. You know, I fucking went on tour, saw a bunch of times. And they actually are very much the reason I took the chance of being an artist. Like, in all truth. Like, I've done like in art school, anytime we'd have to do any project that was music related or anything, if I could have it be Pearl Jam related, it would be more fun. So
what's your favorite Pearl Jam song before you go ahead?
Oh shit. Oh God. One of the most beautiful songs is Oceans. It's on 10.
That was their first album, right? The first popular album, or that we all know of.
I like that album on that album because it was very creative and it wasn't this kind of not manufactured sound, but it wasn't the thing. It was this other idea, right? And I thought that we can go on and on about Pearl Jam forever, but
yeah, 100%.
So this photograph was taken 1991 on the same day as today. So it's the anniversary of their first show.
So that's our second full circle story here, everybody.
Yes. So, and that just happened to come up on the screen, which was awesome. And it was shot by Karen Mason Blair. Shout out to Karen. We'll be sure to tag her on this. Karen was friends, she's friends with the bass player, Jeff. And they'd known each other over the years. She's in the Seattle scene. She's a badass. And she's a photographer. And Jeff's like, hey, Karen, I got a new band because their old band broke up. Very sad that they broke up. And she's like, yeah, I'll come check out your new band. I have no idea what you're doing now. And she was the only photographer to photograph Pearl Jam's first show. So talk about synchronicity. Like that's a fucking crazy thing. So I actually found Karen's photos on OpenSea after they were minted for like 6 or 9 months. She had these things minted and she didn't have a community or any way to tell people about it, right? So she did it and they sat there. And I was looking for a Chris Cornell photo I had collected from Charles Peterson, another ultra Seattle legend. And then these photos popped up. A whole treasure trove of Karen Mason Blair's. And I could not believe what I found. Like,
they were just sitting there.
Like this one, I wrote her as like, Karen, I need to be the guy to own this. Like, nice to meet you. Like, and like, I have 2 of them. They're Radiohead's second photo shoot ever.
Another dope band. Wait a second. So she had these up on OpenSea. But was there, maybe I misunderstood you. There was no price on it.
No, they were all listed. Yeah.
Oh, they were listed. Okay. I thought they were just there and you were like, hey, I need that.
No, open season. It was just
unbelievable.
I was getting the chills and I was like, wow. Literally, I could own the whole collection and be the overlord, right? That didn't make a lot of sense for anybody. Right? Like Karen needs a community, I don't need to own all these things. So I definitely picked my favorites while no one was looking. And then I reached out to a couple close homies who I knew might be interested. And one of those was Matt Kane. And I knew Matt was into this era of music. And he was like, whoa, what did you find? I was like, hey, dude, you're number 2. Like, buy whatever you want, right? And then we're gonna I'm gonna tweet it when you're done. So tell me when you're done. So he made a couple fantastic decisions that I wish I would have gotten. He has a very good eye. And then I just did a tweet, just a welcome tweet from to Karen from me and all of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey everybody, I want to introduce you to Karen.
Tell me Karen's name again. I'm looking her up real quick.
Yeah, Karen Mason Blair, 3 words.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. So I just did this little intro, like, hey, this is Karen. She's dope as shit. Like, and she has like the most legendary photos that you might want to check out. And within an hour or something, everything was gone.
Wow.
And she wrote me, she's like, who the fuck are you? And what just happened? And I was like, Karen, welcome. Like you have found community.
Yeah.
You know? So we're friends, you know. She's badass, right? She was like really close with Chris Cornell and like all these people who I deeply admire. So there's just a sense of like, just, I wouldn't say reverence, but like just a bunch of respect. It's like, wow, man, you have been through a very wild life, right? So her photos are sick. Like, look at
her. I mean, such a cool story too. Man, I would I'm gonna reach out to her too. I would love to have her on the show to talk because it's music.
Oh, she's a hoot. You'd love her. She's great.
I hope she says yes. This is awesome.
So yeah, she's a little jewel. So yeah, a bunch of Pearl Jam stuff. And then actually today, with the anniversary date, I'm doing a charity NFT fundraiser. And God, I hesitate because I don't know how deep of a story you want to tell, but extremely long story short, I was at a Pearl Jam show 3 weeks ago, and Eddie was doing what Eddie does, and he talks about the things he's passionate about, and he's doing his thing, right? And it was pointed towards political fundraising and why are we giving these rich people all this money when we should be feeding the homeless? Okay, I understand that. Cool. But in the middle of that, he said, yeah, there's these things, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which I'm pretty sure means they're not worth a shit. And then the crowd kind of cheered and jeered. It was a weird thing. Like some people were like, huh? It's kind of weird. And I was definitely that way because like one of my artistic like idols growing up was proverbially shitting on me and us. And I was like, whoa. Uninformed. Like, sorry, I'm not, that hurts to hear. But the doer in me stood up and I was like, okay, I'm going to make something really positive out of this moment because we have, this is an inflection point, right? It happened. It was like Field of Dreams. I showed up, the weird thing happened, and then I did something else, right? So he was saying these things. So I made a decentralized portrait of Eddie Vedder Decentralized, and I'm auctioning them off, and 100% of the proceeds go to the Pearl Jam Foundation for homeless people, right? And, you know, I'm not making shit, but I'm making a statement, right? Like, what is a statement worth?
It's an awesome statement too, man. It really is.
So my whole thing is, please tell everybody, because it's not my intention, but what's going to happen is I'm going to present them with a check for like $30K. And I'm going to say, hey, just want you to know this comes with love from the NFT community, right? In response, with all love to what Eddie said, we are good. And with that, we want to help Eddie's mission of feeding the homeless people.
Love it. Man.
So, and there's no time limit on it. 10 people out of 300 will randomly get airdropped the animated version of it.
Is this live yet?
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah. It is live.
Yeah, I'll drop the link in the chat.
Awesome.
So what I did was I took a 10-second animation and I broke it up into still frames. So
hold on a second. Okay, I'm getting it. Hang on 1 minute. Where did that come through? Where did you send it to?
I put it in our private chat.
Oh, that's why I was like, what the fuck is going on? I saw the other link and I didn't grab it, and I thought you were DMing it to me. All right, hang on.
Too many channels.
That's not it.
Oh man, is that one purchased? I want that. I'm such a.
It's not purchased. It's sitting there. It's
Oh, dude, my friend owns it. Yes.
I clicked on it and oh, sorry, it is owned. And he has some of your stuff in there too.
I will tell him. He'll be stoked. That's a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let me grab this. What did I do? I want to put that there. All right, there we go. Right, that's what you sent me. Okay, hold on.
And let me finish the story. Okay, so
okay, please.
He does these things about NFTs. I'm in like existential shock, right? Because not only did I hear Eddie Vedder say NFT non-fungible token, which I never thought I'd hear him say in person, and then he shit all over us. And at the end of it, he literally says, we need lifters. Wait, no, we need lifting, not grifting. That was his final statement. And he walked off the stage.
Whoa.
And like, we all know the grifting term here.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot believe those words came out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It was like the cherry on top of like, holy shit, what did I just hear? So
it's almost like he knew you were there and he knew you were going to rebel against it and do something good for it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have seen Field of Dreams?
Of course.
Okay. I literally am fucking Kevin Costner in this situation, right? Like, it's beyond anything. He could have said this at any concert at any time. I don't go to a lot of shows.
No, you just haven't. It's just so random.
So that was why I did it, because it was that thing. It's like, if I don't do something about this right now, like I feel like I'm letting the universe down. So like I gotta, do my part. So so I took a 10-second animation and I broke it up into 300 frames, right? And so everybody who buys a frame will get one of those slices. So they're all individual. They're not, I guess they're one of ones. They're all sequentially unique. And then on top of that, there's 10 people will get the animated piece airdrop to them, the whole 10-second thing. So that's what I'm doing. And, a statement will be made with love.
It's very cool. And it looks like it's moving too, it's very cool, man. Very cool. I'm bookmarking that shit, man. We're going to get some of that going. Sorry.
Thank you. I wanted to say, so Xcopy is CCO, right? So with the grifting, it was an obvious opportunity to CCO some Xcopy. So I took Grifter, and actually it's his forehead.
Let me put it back up on the screen.
The blue part is the forehead of a grifter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
So I made that a cheek.
Yeah.
And I took the stars in the background of the grifter and made those the background behind the palm trees.
It's really cool, man. The details.
So that's my Eddie piece, and it's cool because I never thought I'd have a reason to do a portrait of Eddie Vedder, right? People have to have a reason to be in the series, right? It's
not grifting like, Eddie.
John Wayne, like let's do a fucking John Wayne. No. So Eddie raised his hand and like invited himself into the series. So welcome, Eddie.
Welcome to the NFT world, Eddie. Coldie, you are onboarding Eddie Vedder.
Let's go.
And the other Pearl Jam fans that think Eddie was right in what he said. I think you're proving him wrong.
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. And we know, we know that there's good actors and bad actors in this. And it's not just in this space that we're in, this NFT space, crypto space, Web3, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they're everywhere. Looking, they're everywhere. I don't need to go on and on, but I think this is, you got chutzpah. It's a Yiddish word, yeah? It's a mitzvah that you're doing because you're giving back to the community as well. So this really, really, it just makes sense. It just makes sense all around. It makes sense. So give. I love it. Now, music, since we're on music, when you're doing your art, when you're making art, do you listen to anything in particular? And if you do, is it like different every time you're creating a piece? Do you have something on, what is it, shuffle? Or are you dead silence?
It's definitely like kind of like a case by case or like where I'm at in a process. If it's some like, some days it feels like I'm just doing emails and, not being creative for spans of time. And sometimes I'll just stop and usually just like have a session where I just literally have to create and like just maybe there's a plan, maybe there's not, right? And there's usually some nice organic bud around, maybe an IPA, something to, change your mind a little bit. And with that, I love playing music very loud through my speakers. And that often will, if it's loud on the speakers, it's probably going to be, I have a hard time getting new bands. Actually, I love the Idols. Idols I just found. Holy fuck. Idols are great. Saw them at the Eddie Festival. Soundgarden, White Stripes, a lot of Radiohead. Kind of just
Radiohead's so great
to fill the space. Right?
How do you know what to listen to? Like, how do you know where your mood's gonna, like, I guess the mood that you're in and where the art comes out from that mood?
Probably like let's say I'm doing a UFO piece or something that's like, intergalactic. Maybe there's like a Pink Floyd, or there's something that's more ethereal and like, expansive, right? Maybe if I'm doing an animation piece and it's punchy, right? Maybe I'll do like something more upbeat that's like, a faster cadence, right? Just to kind of like match the mindset a little bit. I think that helps me like feel vibes. I feel a lot of vibes through music. Probably why I went to so many fucking shows. But when I harness that creatively, it almost creates its own meditative thing, right? Where there's just it's like a Aurora Boreas, whatever the fuck those are called.
It don't matter. You're good.
I think I said it right. I think I'm right. But that's the kind of thing. It's all mood based, right? But then there's also times where I'm doing extremely hyper delicate things. And that could be physically, if I have like my X-Acto knife and I'm doing super delicate cuts on something, right? Or even if I'm masking something on Photoshop that's really fucking time consuming, you don't need it if you can't use AI. That shit I put nothing on because I need to fully focus because I'm so ADD that literally if I stop thinking about it and I think about something else, that's when the blade slips and you're fucked. So I guess it's a combination.
Right on. Music is art. Art is music, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. I did a couple pieces years ago. There's one that's actually it's a Kandinsky. I took Kandinsky art and I threw it into, this was like 4 years ago. I threw it into Playform, which is one of the early like easy ways to generate like generative AI art, right? So I just want to mess with some type of AI art. So I got these like weird Kandinsky things, and then I would I made a couple pieces that are on Super Rare, and one of them is called Obscured by Clouds, and that's a Pink Floyd album. Not many know, the aficionados do. It's a fucking fantastic album. Actually, that inspired Black Sabbath's sound. Think about that. So I was listening to that while I was doing the piece, right? So sometimes there's almost a direct reaction where it was enough of a reason for the art and the process. I just fucking named it after the fucking album. Why not? And
it's called the
Kandinsky
series, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It's like, you're mixing the classical stuff and blending it all. It's pretty cool, man. I'm going to see if I can find it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. I think I might have found it. But yeah, just send it to me because that way I get the right link.
Hey, I wanted to ask real quick. We're looking at the Eddie Vedder, and I noticed you used Manifold for it. Since we are on the topic of this type of stuff, because it interests me from a perspective of music as well too. But do you use Manifold quite frequently, or do you experiment with other contract types, or you know?
Yeah, I definitely would always prefer the sovereign contract over a shared contract. Sometimes that's not possible depending on the drop, but when I have a choice, I definitely would prefer to mint on my own. So there's multiple projects who do this, each in uniquely usable ways, right? So for this specific series, I'm doing Manifold because it offers some other possibilities like a burn redeem or some of these things that if I use other platforms that don't offer those same tool sets, right? I mint a lot on Transient, I mint on Manifold, and the nice thing is you can get them indexed onto Super Rare, so you can still be on the platforms but have your own contract, right? So I think that's a important thing for people minting is to know your options, right? And that's the stuff that outlasts you, right? Those are decisions that you make now that you can't change them, right?
For sure. And and this whole thing too of now obviously you've been very successful and you make really cool art. Just that's a success in itself, but you've also been successful with, people buying your art and stuff and you minting it and using the blockchain. Now, as you make and create these projects, I like the way you put that. You kind of have to be mindful because like really once you put something up there and you mint it and you create a contract, it's like you kind of like I don't know, it's like you kind of got to get it right because if what are you gonna do? It's like this is all blockchain stuff. Like, do you have like how well versed are you with? I mean, do you pretty much know the mechanics? Or are you always searching for new ideas for the mechanics? Something like I know with this Pearl Jam, this Eddie Vedder piece, for example, you like 10 different. There'll be some type of randomization where 10 people will get the different animated drops, the 10-second drop, some things like that. Is this stuff like you kind of pretty much have to plan this out before you launch the project, or no? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have more options. And I did a drop before this. It was a Jack Dorsey drop. And that was kind of the precursor. So I ran some experiments, seeing how it worked for me selling these frames. I had done this originally like a year and a half ago on a Filthy Fiat Ordinals drop, whole nother story. But I did the idea of splitting an animation into frames, and that was received really well. So I brought the band back together and tried it for these. And it's just being nimble and trying to think of different ways to engage a community and making art accessible but still interesting, right? Yeah, so this is the Jack, and this happened because proverbially it seems like he paid for Julian Assange's flight home after he got released. And it's just the blockchain transactions are like within a minute between a tweet and a transfer. It's like, plausible deniability, but pretty sure.
wow.
So I made this artwork to honor that moment in blockchain history, right? And again, I didn't plan on doing a Jack Dorsey portrait until he raised his hand, right? So again, I try to like vibe off of the ecosystem and the vibe I'm in, right? I'm reacting. I think when I react, I get a way more, not more fun, but there's just a visceral feeling because it has to happen quick, right? You got to hit the moment, right? I'm not an everyday guy. I'm not going to pump out a Beeple at you, but like I'm going to, aside from my family and everything else, as fast as I can create a cohesive thought, then I will do that. And with that, I had a burn redeem. I had a drawing. I'm playing with these mechanics. So now I kind of a little bit different spin on this one, but just new experiments and thesis. It's all like big science experiments.
I love it, man, and I love the way you just put that. Like they raise their hand, you know, figuratively, and then it's like, okay, and it's kind of calls to you to work on that, and I think that's awesome. I think the best art is made that way, you know. And I also wanted to say this is kind of like a off subject, but on the subject. But it looks these pieces look so cool, and I noticed the Pearl Jam, the Eddie Vedder picture behind you. Is there like for your? I'm talking about for your specific art in particular. Or is there any type of physical displays that you recommend somebody like if I was to purchase your art and I wanted it hanging in my room? Is there any stuff that you think does it justice? You know?
Oh man, that's super. It's hard to answer because it depends on like, you know, do you want it to be a blockchain frame or you just want a cool frame that you can load a picture onto? That gives you two different camps. I do like what White Walls is doing with their app, where you can load it onto like right now it's Apple TVs, but they're expanding. I think that's a great way to have it accessible. I think it's Samsung that does like the art frame that has like the matte finish on the front. Something that doesn't have glare, that it looks so nice when it looks like a frame instead of a TV.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's just something you get fooled. And I think that's like aesthetically is a good choice. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, it totally does. It just interests me because all this art looks so cool, and I've gotten a few things. You know, I'd like to collect more, and maybe as time goes, I will. But like, I never really, I want to kind of display it and present it.
yeah,
You
sure.
know, but I just never really find the right way to it that does it justice. And I'd feel like stupid having this great piece somewhere and it looks like shit. You know, because I'm not doing it right. You know.
Yeah, I think we're just in those like middle years where there hasn't been a clear outlier like way to go. I mean, I have a token frame which I like, but it's you know, it's blockchain only, right? So it's all my tokenized stuff, but I can't throw any JPEG on there, right? So you need a different screen. You know, if I want to test out what artwork looks like, I need to put that on a regular TV or something, right? But yeah, another side tangent. So here's the other way you can experience art. I think you saw these. Did you see these at the Rug House?
Yes.
So these are the ViewMaster I showed you before. I made a ViewMaster series with my NFTs, so you could just have this on your countertop.
So badass.
That's very, very fucking
was
cool.
that a limited run, or is that just something like people can go to your website and grab it?
It's funny. It did a pre-sale, and we haven't done the public launch yet. It's another one that's like.
I definitely want to get one of those.
Oh yeah. Let me know. Yeah,
that's cool.
But it's funny because this series is getting attention from like more of a trad space than the NFT space. So it's interesting. Like, you show different things to different people and they're like, whoa, wait, show me that again. You're like, oh, are you interested in that? Cool. Check this out. And then, you know, instead of just, you know, our attention economy is like fucking 2 seconds if you're lucky, which is fine. Right. But some of these things that might not be of interest to people in this space, outside people, it's different.
For sure.
I think that's cool. It's like a book. Sorry, Cookie, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just basically saying it's totally cool. It's the same conversation as with music. It's the format thing, like the art. Like we all make the art and the art is there, but like what format do we put it on? Like what is the best way for the particular person who wants to consume it or listen to it or watch it? What is their best way to do that properly in a way that's most enjoyable to them? And you know, and then does that create a sustainable model for the artist making it? You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing is like, you know, full-time art, you have to think about, you know, revenue streams to pay the bills, right? Like if you're doing only NFTs, well, we've learned that isn't a straight up all the time situation, right? You got to find different revenue streams. You got to find, you know, and, you know, freelancing or doing whatever, right? These are all different ways that artists survive, right? And for me, like if I'm doing a digital series and I can make a physical Viewmaster, you know, that's just more consumption options, right? It's just different ways to engage. So it's been fun to mess around with that.
That's very cool, man. I like it, like I was saying before when I rudely interrupted Cookie, but this is it's like, you know, you can have a coffee table book, or you could have the Viewmaster or Viewfinder, whatever, I forget what it's called. And you see that on the table, you're picking that up first. You're not going to pick the book up first. You're picking that up first. That's really cool because that in itself is the book, right? You're flipping through it. Instead of flipping through the book, you're flipping through the images of your art, which I think is great. Another thing too, which is where I want to kind of lead to, because it all to me is this dynamic storytelling that you do in each project that you do. There's always a story behind it. And there's that dynamic that you put into it, the dynamics that you put into it. This choose your own adventure thing, you know, that you're I guess that you've done, which kind of involves art on async, right? Where you allow the owner to alternate, or to, I guess, to, you know, shift the art around, so to speak, right? Tell us about this, because this to me is really cool. You own the piece of the art, but you allow the owner to do their thing with it, which is cool.
Which on a side note probably informs you guys of the thing that we saw beforehand, like before the show started, right? There's always this path, right? And with async, and async had to close their doors. Like, it's been a year and a half or so. They created technology that nobody had seen. It was a fucking game changer. And as a collage artist, it was exactly everything I wanted, right? I could have, you know, if you're doing landscape, I could have 8 different moons, and you can move the moon around and make it bigger and smaller, and change the mountain ranges, or, you know, change the trees. Whatever layer you owned, you could update it. Like, just legendary stuff, which still to this day it's like just now being recreated.
That's
right?
innovative.
It's super innovative and still unparalleled. Right?
Yeah.
I've been looking around, right? I know. And I mean, that piece alone was one of the maybe like most challenging pieces in terms of matching all options with each other, right?
Let's go back a second. When you started this, when did you realize that that the idea can actually, or the concept of it can actually, that it could be done?
Oh, man. Thought. Yeah. So Conlon, the creator of Async, we were buddies beforehand, just in crypto, and we hung out in crypto voxels all the time. And Conlon was like, "Hey, dude, can I call you? I want to, you know, run something by you." I was like, "Okay." Like, you don't usually get that, but I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm happy to talk." And this was at my job, my cage I was at. So like, I went into a little conference room and took the call, and he told me about what Async was going to be. And I was floored. And the first thing I said was, "Is this an idea, or have you built it?" Right. And he's like, "I've built it. It's done." And I was like, holy shit, like giga brain. I was like, okay. I was like, dude, everything that you just told me, I'm in for, and I just want to be a part of it. Like, hats off, homie. Like, let's have fun. Can't wait to try it out. It's that whole thing is so legendary. Yeah. And
it's sad that it's no longer async, you know. It just, people didn't grasp it, you know. They didn't understand it. They didn't see it. It's possibly one of those things that, you know, comes back, you know, once people realize what they missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. I'll be there for it.
Yeah, for sure. That's really cool though, that you know, brought it together for that. I thought, you know, very interesting.
Yeah, they're just great people. You know, like when you meet good people, like whatever project they have down the line, you know, you can vet someone out and be like, okay, I'll fuck with you again. You know, like this was cool. Can't wait till your next thing. You know, we still catch up. They're good people, and they're ahead of their time. Sometimes you're quote unquote too early.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's a great bad problem.
It's a great bad problem, man. I hope that nobody takes that concept and idea and then really, really runs with it. And they were the ones that it happens. It happens a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely builders. I mean, DK just put out basically an async builder through Transient. Hats off to them. It looks fucking great. He just did that, right? And it's been around in different ways, but I think people are actually understanding that they need more of that in their life. So it'll happen, and they'll be the pioneers, right?
That's right. Hell yeah. Any musical instruments do you play?
No. So actually, I love singing. So I can sing karaoke.
Can you hold a tune?
Oh yeah.
You can hold a note. You can belt it out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to put you to the test.
I wouldn't do it here.
No, I wouldn't ask you.
But, next time we're in Miami, we'll have a karaoke night and we'll throw it.
Let's do it, bro.
Yeah, it's like the jumpers. They just splash.
Yeah, dude. They just splashed this guy. He's putting it on now. He's putting it on. He was humble about it before.
But so it was interesting. So I was drawn to music, and at one point I got a bass. So I was like, yeah, I like rhythm. I get it. I listen to songs and do like I play it all in my head, right? It's like, well, let's try to actually play it. And I was probably 24, 25. I started taking bass lessons, and the bass teacher was like, damn, dude, like you're picking this up, quicker than being really shitty. It's like this, cool, man. You should keep it up. And I had this like super existential thought. I was like, well, okay. I only have so much time in my day, and I need to develop my journey, right? I need to focus my energy. And this was when both things were brand new. I'm like, do I want to do like visual art or do I want to do music? Because whichever one I do, I'm going to fuck with very hard, right? And I had to make that decision. And as soon as I made that decision, I just put the bass aside. I still have it, and it's fun to plunk around, but it was like, I can't make art if I'm dedicating all this time to learning bass. So art it is.
I love that. I love that. And that kind of makes me think of this subject now of how, and once again, I'm obviously leaning towards the musician's frame of mind more, but like how a lot of musicians these days, they get stuck, not even musicians, artists, actually not even artists, everybody who's trying to serve somebody something has to kind of be a DIY person these days, right? And I want like your commitment, understanding that you would really, to be great at one thing, you really gotta choose, and do you ever have these frustrations like especially before, like you've had some very good success, but prior to that, and even now, because I know, like you said, the chart good. So do you have a hard time managing all the tasks that are involved besides the actual creating art and keeping it all together? Like, I don't know whether it would be promoting a show or putting the mechanics together for your drop, that kind of stuff. It all takes tons of time besides the actual art itself.
Oh yeah, no, it's daunting at best. They don't teach you any of these things in art school, right? There's no fucking bookkeeping or marketing. I mean, I actually was a marketing minor, so I guess that helped, but that's not part of what you're taught, right? So DIY is exactly it. And I think I'm fortunate in that I had an art direction in marketing background. So I was used to that package, right? So I understood you needed to do certain things to promote it. So that definitely helped me because I could take off my art hat and put on my graphic designer or marketing hat and at least do something. I don't ever claim to be like the fucking best marketer ever. But so far I've just been the guy, right? It's like, look around, who's going to do it? And you're like, well, here we go. So, yeah, I mean, you got to do lots of different things. Half of them aren't what I proverbially want to be doing at the time, but you are your own manager. You are your own, I'm looking at contracts today, like because I don't, I
Yeah,
had
it's
one of another person look, but like, there's things you got to do that aren't just like, I'm going to make art today. Like it's not like that.
Do you have a team? Cause it does take a village to really get up and out and to push. Do you have a team that helps you along the way with most of this, tedious stuff? So you can just
I'm a
focus on
lean
art?
mean machine. Raphael, who you might have met at Rug Mansion, he's my right hand man. He's super savvy with.
I don't think I met him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's super savvy with just like gamification and kind of just ways to engage community. Where it's always about the art, but it's always cool. He'll have these like, oh, what if you took this and that and did a such and such? It's like, fuck, that's a great idea. So
That's
great. It's awesome to have, right? And besides that, I have people who are basically like on call. If I need support and the project gets bigger, I can like bring on a person or two to ramp it, right? But I'm lean and mean. It's mostly me.
Yeah. Do you feel like you get things more accomplished because it's just you, like easy to just decide?
Yeah, I mean, there's a plus and a minus. Like I always know that I'm going to do what I want to do, right? You're not hoping somebody else speaks and says what you want them to say, right? So in that respect, I'd rather just do the meeting than like be the artist in the corner that just nods their head or shakes. Like it's not me. Like I'd rather just have the talk. But I don't know. This is a whole different talk. There's pluses and minuses. I'm a bleeding heart artist as well. So, right. There's times when I need that hard-nosed person that's like, no, we're going to do this, or you got to look out for yourself. It's like, oh yeah, you do, don't you? So that's where I have a team that I can, vet these things with and they're trusted and I've known them forever and they know what the fuck they're doing. So, in that sense, I feel supported, but by no means do I have like a staff that's like doing my production art. Like I touch every pixel,
Great.
Love it, man. That's great stuff. And, just not having a team, but having people that you can bounce ideas off of and stuff, because especially with the blockchain and stuff, just when you even though you have someone helping you with gamification ideas and just ways to kind of make things engaging, you still have to like have even though it's a manifold contract and they have great tools that are very no code, but you still kind of have to know a little bit and it's not I mean, it's definitely not easy. You have to have as Hef put it, what's the word, Hef? You have to have some
chutzpah.
I love it.
Oh, every day's FOFO. There's not any day that's standard run of the mill. Like when we when ordinals started, I wanted to mint an ordinal, and I did a portrait of Casey Rodarmer, right, the creator. Again, like he kind of raised his hand. I was like, okay, Casey portrait on ordinals, right? Let's make it make sense. And it was like ordinals were like a month old, right? Like I heard Benny talking about it, but like besides that, it was like I don't. No one knew, and I was like, fuck it, let's figure it out. And Raphael is just as much of a doer. He's like, I will dig into it and I'll figure it out, right? So the teamwork on that was fucking amazing, right? Because I'm doing the art. He's like, I think I figured it out, right? It wasn't even, I got it. He's like, I'm pretty sure we got it. And that's good enough. I was like, fuck it, let's go. So I did a Casey 1 of 1. And funny enough, it was supposed to be a 2 GIF animation that was like 3D, kind of wiggle back and forth. When I uploaded the file, it was a GIF and it did the thing. And then I inscribed it and it took, who knows, 4 hours or it was some long amount of time. And finally it came back and it was a still image because ordinals couldn't handle it at the time, or I don't know.
The file size was too big.
Yeah, something happened where they took one of the frames. So it was great because that's the story of that piece. Like that's why it was early and that's why it's not animated, was because it was too early.
It was
Not
too
early.
early.
It was, it was inscription like 124,000. It was pretty
Yeah.
low.
Damn, the inscription was like, fuck your gift.
Yeah, gift. Yeah, exactly. And I appreciated that, right? It's like the hole on the canvas. It was like, you're not going to get what you want. Do another.
Yeah. Let me ask you, since you were talking about this, because I wouldn't ask you if you didn't bring it up, but you did inscribe something on the Bitcoin, on that, right? On the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah.
When you're doing the inscription, because I own some rare sats, when you're doing the inscription, what are you using? Because I have some sats, they're just in a wallet,
Okay.
and I don't know what the heck to do with these things.
I know that when you're inscribing, you can pick different like types of rare sats or your own rare sat. I haven't gotten too deep into that. I totally get it, and I know that like that adds another layer on top of it.
Yeah.
But for what I've done so far, I haven't really delved into that. I did.
Well, how did you do it? How did you inscribe it? What's the method?
I used Gamma. So the Gamma team has been super great. The first one was like on our own, like that was through Gamma, but like shit show, like no idea. But now Gamma is great, and you can, instead of minting, it's inscribing, or more or less same difference. It's on chain, huge bonus, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it's pretty sweet. You could do like basically an edition. They call them prints, where you can have like an open edition. You can do whatever you want and proliferate those, right? Or you can have one of ones, or you can also do generative. You can do different stuff. I did an open edition for Michael Saylor. It was the Happening, and he had just recently said, if it's not going to zero, or no, it's going to zero, or it's going to 1 million. That was the saying. And I was like, that's pretty baller saying, right? So again, he raised his hand. So I said, okay, Michael Taylor, welcome to the Decentralized series. And I did an open edition on the Happening just for the culture, right? This was not like a cash grab. I didn't make the miners made 3 times as much as me, right?
Yeah.
But that was fine. It was for the culture. And I got 3,000 of them out there.
Very cool.
When ordinals dropped, that they were stoked. And the cool thing was, it was right when we crossed over from, I could say this wrong, I don't know if it's 700 million or 7 billion. I don't know the number, but it was from the 6 level to the 7 level was the inscription numbers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So inherently, we were like watching the sats to see if I would get number 7 million. I think it was 7 million, we'll say.
To hit it on the nose, you mean?
Hit on the nose, because it's an open edition, and there's other things that are being purchased as well.
Yeah.
Right, during the time. It's on the blockchain. So I was like, man, it was like me and Skrilla. Skrilla's doing a drop too. And I was watching it, and I fucking got it.
That's insane.
I got 6999999 as well. I don't own them, but someone does.
Yeah.
So those are fun sat things.
What chain do you prefer to have your art on?
I mean, it's hard to say, like, in terms of like usability and functionality. I mean, on Bitcoin, on chain is pretty solid. There's different give and takes in terms of like cost for inscribing and what that means for like the size of your files, and kind of how you handle the data.
What about audience? What about the audience of Bitcoin? Like,
yeah,
I would say it's probably low, right?
Yeah, I would say, like, in terms of the like, I kind of equate things like when I came in like 2018. We're not even 2018. I would say like ordinals is at like maybe 2021, like mindset, not making it rain, right? It was like lots on the PFP collections, larger collections, high volume, those are the things that traders and collectors, but I would say there's more of a trader mindset currently on ordinals. which I'm totally all about it because I want to come in there with low edition art and just say to each their own, but instead of, and plenty of other people are doing this too, but we as artists are going to put low quantity artwork out there and the market can then decide what that's worth, right? Like I don't dictate what my art is worth. You know, the market will find a floor, right? That's how it worked in ETH. Like I used to start them at a half an ETH, then I'd sell 5 of them at a half an ETH. I'd be like, oh, let's try 3/4 of an ETH, right? And then you tier up and then the market tells you, right? I think that's a huge thing that is being underutilized is like letting the market decide the value, right? Because too low or too high, you want to find parity, right? And that's where, you know, it works for everyone, you know? So I think Ordinals is still growing and, you know, I have new releases that will be coming out on Ordinals. Most definitely. They're in the works. And they're not 10,000 collections, right? They're aesthetically beautiful and extremely thought out and tech forward and all the things I would want as a collector. I'm trying to create.
For sure. Hey, you know, since you mentioned that with the blockchain, with Bitcoin and the ordinals, and not Bitcoin, but the ordinals, and just the way they're inscribed, do you feel that now? Obviously, I mean, so when you mint something with Manifold on you know, Ethereum, I guess sometimes you're using like an Airtable or you know, was it Pinata or one of these hosting one of these what's the word, interplanetary file system with the
Yeah.
So
Are we? Yeah.
Yeah, so that verse, so that's the thing that Bitcoin, when it's Bitcoin, it's actually it's physically on a chain, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that that's important? And I know it's, you know, it's a nuance, but do you think that it makes the Ethereum stuff like, because it's still the sovereignty, it's still proof of ownership, but the actual art isn't on there. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, nothing will trump being on chain, you know, whatever chain it's on. If it's embedded in there, then you're good, right? But then it's the existential thought of, is the token the art or is the image the art? Or are both true, right? So I think, you know, even for the Nakamoto card, that image has been broken for years. That does not exclude it from trading at historical levels the whole time, right? So that is the case alone, right? If that piece retains its value without an image link, that's the litmus test for basically anything, right? Then I think it's up to the artist, you know, to do what they can to preserve that. You know, Brian Brinkman just did a wonderful walkthrough of how to pin your own art on Pinata. I think he used Pinata or Arweave.
I love Brian. He's a great artist.
Right? Like, do you want your art to be online in 50 years? That's a thought you have to think, right? To each their own. I do, right? I'm a career artist. Like, I got, you know, probably 40 more years in me, hopefully making art the whole time, right?
That's right.
Last thing I want to do is get to the end of the line and all my fucking images are broken, right? That would suck. So I think you got to think about it. And then if you want to do that, you have to basically invest in yourself, right? And pin those. And that just becomes a operating cost, you know? But I think there's also ways that people who just have the token and then an artist will have a website where you can just download the JPEG. So you can mentally piece it together where it's like, I got the token, I'm good. I am the owner. And I got this JPEG that's a reference of this thing. So I'm going to slap that up on the TV and it all means the same thing. Right?
Sure.
So I would always prefer my ETH image to work. Right? When it doesn't work, I'm figuring out how to fix that problem. But I think, especially like an X-Copy or anybody who has made a piece of art that has almost been ingrained in a movement, then it just becomes known, right? You could close your eyes and probably more or less see the Nakamoto card.
Sure.
Right. Once you get to that level, the image just is a helper.
The funny thing is, I didn't even know that the actual image on chain was broken until you just told me. It was probably broken before I even knew it existed.
Yeah. 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 But it doesn't matter. At least to the people who are buying it. Right. Like that's where one person's trash is another person's treasure. Right. You could be like, this fucking token sucks. And the next guy be like, I'll buy that from you.
True. Speaking of trash and speaking of treasure, what NFT project you hoped made it, but ended up getting rugged?
Oh, man, that's tough. Not tough because I have a couple standouts.
Let me ask it again. What NFT project you wish would have made it, but ended up getting rugged?
Oh, I know.
Giving you some more time there.
No, I don't need time. I'm just thinking which one I want to blast first.
Let's blast them all. Let's go.
Going through a process right now.
I wonder if you're going to mention any of the ones that I know that I would say.
I mean, I'm very sad that NBA Top Shot did not work out.
Yeah, fun.
I was early on that. I collected baseball cards as a kid. I
still have.
I still have. Yeah. I still got my bag. I got a very nice collection. But that's like a 100-year hold at this point.
Yeah.
But there's been some other ones that.
What about a generative art project that was, 2021, in the beginning NFTs when people were just making NFTs like it was going out of style. But there were some cool projects that were out there. Some cool things that were supposed to happen as well with a lot of these projects, like false promises and stuff. But what did you really, really like art-wise that just, the founders failed on the community? And if you don't want to put anybody on blast.
It's funny because
that's okay.
I really didn't go into that world a whole lot.
Oh.
I didn't fuck around with a lot of the PFPs.
Okay.
So like one thing I did was it wasn't my bag, right? Like I go to a lot of galleries and I can look at a piece of art and say, I like that. And I think that it's historical and cool and whatever the things that check the boxes. I have that acuity, right? So I trust my intuition on those decisions. But if I'm looking at, upside down panda with a pirate patch and peace sign,
3D glasses,
he has a grill, I'm like, is that cool? I can't tell you, right? So I just didn't go that route. But the best thing I ever did was a lot of money. The legendary artist, rest in peace. An OG, like class of 2018. Anybody who doesn't know a lot of money, please stop whatever you're doing right now and learn about a lot of money. He's literally the best. From a collage artist to another, I was asking him questions and he would just politely chuckle at me and not tell me how he did it because he's that good.
That's awesome.
A lot of money did a CryptoPunk, but with his brand moniker, like his face. And I looked at that and I was like, I want that. Like, it's not a real CryptoPunk, but it's a lot of money making a one-of-one CryptoPunk, right? So I bought that one. And I also bought the Bored Ape that he did. Okay. And my asymmetrical bet was that I believe that this Bored Ape will be worth more money than the regular Bored Apes. And I bet you I'm winning that conversation.
Prediction market. Is this it right here? Is this the artist? This a lot of money?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
This is really cool. His PFP is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's like his main thing was Monty Python.
Yeah.
He was always running Monty Python. There's a bunch. Those are all AC.
I wish it was put up.
Here, I'll find you the ones.
There was some really cool stuff I saw that he was doing. So this is really cool. Tragic that he you said he's no longer here with us.
Yeah, he passed away.
Right.
But that guy, you want to talk about making an impact when you have time? Like he did that. Like there are literally so many things in this whole ecosystem are in great part due to the things he did.
Yeah. Okay. You sent me a link.
So those are the two. So that was my asymmetrical bet with PFPs. I still fucked around. I got crypto dick butts. Got a whole bunch of
the crypto dick butts that miraculously went to the moon.
Yeah.
I missed that train, but I knew people that were like buying them. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. No, I got a bunch of crypto tit badges. Those are also great.
That's funny. I ended up getting those crypto Ray Rays, the dogs.
Okay.
And yeah, just, I don't know, just so much shit in my bag, dude. I got so much dog shit in my bag. All right, let me wait, you sent me the link. Why did I not put it here? Hit enter. There we go. Right. So here's the ape.
Yeah,
a lot of ape money.
Oh, that's cool. I never saw that.
So it's just and he was a homie. Like I was like, dude, I want this piece, and he's like, it was just at that point there wasn't a huge demand for these things either. So I would put a bid in there.
Oh, I found your wallet. Forget it. It's over with now, Coldie.
Hey, look around.
I'm gonna look and see what you got. I might want to trade you something.
Oh, let's go. These are okay. It says vault for a reason, so be careful.
Be careful. Yeah. Don't mess around. Funny. That's funny.
But yeah, no, I don't really know a lot of those PFP projects. My attention span was not able. It was like music and art. I had to pick a path, and PFPs was not my path.
Yeah. Understandable though. I mean, you're different kind of artist and a generative style, thing. So I can understand where you look at it and it looks remedial to you, probably most of that stuff.
It's just vibe. It's just a vibe check. I think you could have a single line across the canvas, and if it's done perfectly, a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of artists. We spoke about this too when we were shooting hoops. You got, a lot of artists that I love, like Matt Gondek and Greg Mike. Greg Mike just, released a project, but it NFT project that was like a long time in the making. He released it along with his gallery, and I'm not sure how well it did, but there's a lot of artists that are super dope, like yourself. You might be an exception here with it, where you've actually made really good money from doing the digital side of art, like as NFTs or that it's on the blockchain. But why do you feel, or why do you think a lot of these other artists that are traditional artists in the sense of doing physical first just haven't been able to cross over, even though their art is really awesome? Like, why do you think that a lot of these artists just haven't been able to make that crossover or that connection with the digital world?
I think part of it is, how do we say this? Collector acuity. I think it also, it's like you got to be a certain type of, I don't know, like Greg Mike, if you know it and you love it, but there's something that led to that, right? There's you don't just jump into that, and maybe you do, but I think it's so hard because there's been so many good people who come in that don't get the attention, and it's such a shame because like I'll buy it, I get it,
yeah,
but it's like starting over for everybody. I helped onboard a couple like very, very like highly collected graffiti artists. Like this was 3 years ago or so.
You brought them in?
Yeah, I brought them in through a mutual friend agent collect. It was like people I knew, and he's like, I want to bring these people in. I'm like, I'm your Sherpa. Let's do it. And I had to have a leveling talk with all of them at one point, where they would put something up for sale, and I would advise them what I thought a fair price would be. But then when no one bought it, you know, these people are used to and consistently to this day are selling out anything they release, right?
Yeah.
High-end shit. They couldn't give this shit away.
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting to me.
And I tell them, like, obviously, both you and I know you're fucking amazing. They don't get it. Like, it's all you can say. Like, they don't get it. And, like, you know, that's just the way it is. And some of those artists, probably more than not, are like, well, I'm not going to fuck around in the space if I'm literally not going to sell anything.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because I'll tell you, it's much more my style than a lot of other things, right? All art is great. But if I had a choice between that artist and all of these artists, I want that shit. So, you know, in time, like we were saying, people will come around, right? Like, it's going to become part of normal collecting. We're just very early. And with that comes the risk of not hitting your physical numbers. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Go ahead, Cookie.
No, I think this is all great stuff. And, you know, I think having Coldie on has really inspired me to I think we should have more visual artists on the show, because it's such a parallel, the way of thinking with music as well, and just utilizing different platforms for distribution. And it doesn't all have to be one way or another. It just all has to be your best, and it all has to be, you have to put soul and heart into it, what you do. And, like, you know, just the Viewmaster. Sorry, I'm just riffing here, but you know, like the Viewmaster, like you, and like the way you said, Hef, I want a table. If I see a book, or if I see a Viewmaster, that's not just I, or it's not just you. That's anybody who's not a fucking lame-o. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm just kidding. A lot of people like books, and hey, just because I never read a book, you'd never tell. But anyway, but I just think it's great. And the key note is to be creative. And also, I just want to add that people that are successful outside of this space, that come in this space, and they don't have that success. And then we see the flip side happen too. People come in this space and they haven't had the success out of it, but they have the success in here. And sometimes that gives a false perception that stuff in this space isn't as valid. Because people think, oh, everybody in that space, because they are grifters, and they're looking at it differently. And also, but the ironic thing is, usually the people that come outside of the space, and I'm not talking in particular to your case, but I'm talking to some artists, established music artists that have come in this space from outside, and their ideas kind of flopped. But obviously, they were coming from a cash grab perspective, in a way of, not like they were grifters, but they were coming in just for the cash. You know, you know, the chances that it would be a new cash revenue from a new different place. And I don't know, I'm just riffing here. I'm a little scattered. I should have taken more ginkgo biloba today, but
no, I totally feel you, and I think that you know, like we said, new revenue streams, always testing things, right? And I think it's great that I mean, kudos to them for even taking the test, right? So I think we have to applaud that side of it, is that they took a risk, right? Whether that risk was a guaranteed 6 figures, to each their own, who knows, right? But they did it, right? More than 99% of the other artists or musicians, same thing, musicians, right? They did it. So in that respect, that's good, right? What we need to do is find a way to keep people in without the attrition, right? That is the problem, because, you know, I got one of my favorite graffiti artists is Pose. I helped onboard Pose, and I was stoked as a fan, right? I was like, dude, you're awesome, dude. And I was able to get some Pose pieces, and Pose is one of the people who doesn't need to be here, but we were lucky to have him when we did, right? And he'll be back, right? Those are the people that I think, when it comes back around and it's actually more mainstream or whatever, they will have gone down the gauntlet. So I bet they're going to be much more keen to, like, get it and say, fucking let's crank the wheel again. You know? So I think there's a lot of seed planting, especially with larger artists. And I bet in the long run, the ones who do come back will, you know, less to learn.
For sure.
Awesome. Is there any artist that's only doing physical now that you would love to see come over to the digital side of things that you feel could, you know, bring a lot to the table for this space that isn't here yet? And this is just a thought. This is not anything.
It's really hard. I mean, most of my favorite artists are dead. So
let's bring them back.
I mean, that's why I tried. That's what I did with Gandinsky. With Gabriel Gandinsky.
Yeah. And you actually did, because I didn't know who it was before that.
Boom. Onboarded. That's it. That's the whole goal of the project.
You onboarded me to that. Boom. Yeah.
Fucking wonderful. Wonderful artist.
That's right. Through the spiritual world.
Oh, actually, there's a really existential book. Let's see if I got it. Yeah.
Coldie's got some cool stuff. I swear we should do like a segment with Coldie called Show and Tell.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got so much stuff to show.
Yeah.
Point and line to plane. Whoa. Like, fucking breaks it down. Like, from a single dot to the line that dots are made from, and then the plane that the dots make. Whoa.
I'm gonna not ask you to repeat it. I'm gonna watch the video tomorrow, watch our show back, and I'm definitely gonna.
And it's easy because it's like an artist talking, which I can comprehend it usually. Another artist explaining art, so it's actually digestible. It's great. Okay, the question: what physical artist? I'm gonna do the softball lob because I still think it would be the very best. Is if we could get Banksy in here.
Oh man.
There's, I mean, just the rawness of the social commentary combined with technology. It's and I'll tell you, when I came into the space, my goal in 2018 was that I wanted to prove the thesis for artists like Shepard Fairey and Banksy to come into the space. And I shit you not, that was like my mantra. Like, take risks, mint, and do it. And then by all of us doing that same mantra, it would lead, right? The ripple effect. And Shepard Fairey has come in since then. And I think that inevitably that will happen. But Banksy will understand that they could be differently prolific. You know, I think it's...
Wait, you said Banksy and then you said they. Is Banksy a they? Like, I don't mean like a they, not a they, but are I mean it like
breaking news.
I meant
Banksy is two people.
Is it more than one person?
I can neither confirm nor deny anything. I do not know Banksy. So let's make that clear.
Okay. I wanted to ask. That was my next question. Have you met Banksy? Because I think Banksy is Satoshi Nakamoto.
That would be, if that's true, then we're all going to the fucking supermoon. if the two of those people are the same, then we're good. We are set.
Who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is? Do you think it's one person? Do you think it was all of those people that were at the beginning of Bitcoin? Who do you think it is? If you had a chance to guess,
I would love to say I'm the right person to answer that. I altruistically, I think it's one person who had the most brilliant idea of all time. Did it take a team or multiple people to maybe execute that? Potentially. But I think that there was a very enlightened person who had a light bulb thought that they didn't throw away, right? That they fucking made. And I think that is where it came from.
All right. I can dig it.
I don't know. That's my.
It's a good thought. I was just thinking, like, logically, as I was doing some research, and I'm like, I don't know if it was one person. I thought it was maybe their group, like the Bloods or the Crips. It was their gang, you know. But that's obviously, you know, we could spin we're gonna spin our tails forever and ever because, yeah, I just don't think it's ever gonna come to light who it is.
I think
or who they are. Yeah.
All
right. That was just a thought. Hell yeah. How you feeling tonight, though, Coldie?
Oh, dude, this has been fun. This is great. No, we're just riffing, right? So
that's right. Just riffing, baby.
I'm the perfect guy because, like, you're gonna have to say it's time to go before You know,
No, we're going to keep you here forever and ever. Are you going to be? You'll be a Basel, I'm sure, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
What are you doing? Anything? Any exhibit? Any standout stuff? Or are you just going to go and hang out?
There is one thing that will be happening that I'll be able to talk about very soon. But there's a reason to go, I'll say.
There's a reason to go. Can we dig a little bit deeper into that? Or
well, I mean, let's see. I did
without getting in trouble here?
Yeah, no, I mean, what's anybody gonna do?
It's
a digital piece of art that I made, and there's also a digital counterpart to this piece of physical art, and they're going to be sold, and I will be there probably talking about it and showing both the physical and the digital. So
is it being sold there, or is it going to be sold prior?
It's going to be sold not on site. It's going to be
okay.
A different situation. It's not like an on-site auction like that.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely be sharing it for the first time with the world. So
hell yeah.
It's always fun just to get like feedback from, the world.
When do you make the announcement, like where it's going to be at, and, so people can find it or find you there?
That's another really good question. There's multiple partners or teammates in this, so I haven't been given the yes or the cadence. So I'm going to say probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks
till I can talk about it.
Oh, okay, excellent. Follow Coldie on Twitter and make sure you put the notifications on so you find out what we're talking about, because it's actually going to be awesome. It's going to be something that you've never seen before, that I could tell you.
And after the presentation at Basel, we're all getting together and we're going to have a bass for Coldie. We're going to do some live band karaoke.
Oh, let's go.
At a bar, we're going to do it. It's going to be badass. The Just Riffin Coldie karaoke show.
Yeah. That's right.
So actually, I've been a part of throwing 2 legendary karaoke shows or parties during NFT NYC. Highly lauded events, like all A+ reviews. So I guarantee that if and when that happens, there will be a list of people who are like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Ready to go.
So yeah, scout a place out in Miami that's like not in the shit show, if that's possible, that does karaoke.
Hell yeah. Maybe we do an impromptu at our house.
Yeah, or bring it. Yeah, bring it to a place where we could just be loud and sing.
We bring it there. Yeah, we bring it to the party.
Do that.
Coldioke.
Coldioke.
Wow. Holy shit. That's really good. I've never heard of that.
Just
you are the linguistic master. I can hear it. I can hear that.
Hell yeah. Cookie Rabinowitz, dude. That's for sure. Okay. Coldie, I don't want to take too much of your time here because we usually hard stop around 10. But the conversations have just been so good and deep, and just so many cool things going on. When it's all said and done and we're not here anymore, all of us, we're gone. 100 years gone. What are people going to say about Coldie? What are they going to say about you?
Probably he fucked around and found out.
I love it, dude. This is the truth, man.
Just always trying new shit. They're gonna be like, man, that guy had incredible ADD. They're just gonna be like, what the fuck was this guy doing? That's probably gonna be their first thought. They're like, what?
Yeah. And what do you think the future holds for? Well, let me ask you, because you do art. You're making art, physical, digital. And this is, some people have just survived on digital art alone, like just on the blockchain, making art and selling art. Music is one of those things. One of Cookie's favorite things, music NFTs. He hates when I say that, by the way. But music NFTs or music on the blockchain, it's one of those really, really difficult things. We're musicians. we want to see it. We want people to come, and we want to figure that part out in the sense of the decentralization, where musicians don't need a record label. They don't need that entity. They can be their own entity by putting themselves on the blockchain. But we as musicians can do it. But the public are not so savvy with this and a digital wallet and understanding on how to buy the music from the blockchain. Whereas art is a lot easier in that regard, because people look at the art and they go, I like that. The song, they got to listen to it. Do I like it? Do I want to buy it? It's hard.
Yeah.
What's your thought on music, if you have given it at all? And how do you see it working, or do you not?
Oh man, yeah. How much time do you got? Are we at a hard stop in a minute?
No, we're not hard stopping at all. I want to know the hard facts.
I think as a deep lover of music, I think music is in its best form, an emotional asset, right? Where you're ingesting something in a different way that you have to feel it. Your brain has to comprehend it instead of looking at a screen and being like, oh my God, a big blue dot with a line through it. Like, you have to like decode it, which then leads to people not trusting their own taste or looking at it for different reasons, right? Because yeah, I bought a bald giraffe on a pogo stick, and now it's worth $200. That's sick. I'll buy more of those. It's harder to do that with music because there's not like a visual benchmark, right? You could listen to a band and be like, wow, this is like the next Radiohead, right? Like, if you hear that music and it connects to you, then that's where you want to have those people being supporters. But again, it needs a large market of people to have a consensus view, right? Because we're so niche-y in this space, and especially music. Oh, good God. Like, I listen to 90s music. Most people weren't even alive, right? So inherently, we just have different tastes. So it's going to be whatever that proverbial megastar, right, or mega conceptual band comes in. I mean, this would be a perfect Radiohead thing. They did a release. I was in LA, so that was like 20 years ago, where you could pay whatever you wanted for the album. It was a pick your own price. You could pay $0 and get the album. That. They made millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was an art project, first of all. It was a social experiment. Same thing here, right? We'll use Radiohead, for example. They come out and say, hey, motherfuckers, we're doing an EP where, whatever, slice and dice, buy the track or buy the album, and you get a percent, you are the label, right? Instead of getting paid by the label from all that, you guys are being that funding. And then, it could ripple off into meet and greets, or you hold this thing and you get in first before the rest of the people, or there's 1,000 fucking ways that they're there. It just takes a iconically large known band. And that's not to diminish anybody's music, but it has to start huge from the top, the Beeple effect, right? We need the Beeple effect for music. And then when that happens, it's going to make sense, right? What does it say about? I can't read these things. I think it's going to take the network effect and then the functionality of it, which we just don't have the infrastructure for. That's what it all comes down to. Like, all of us have 1,000 good ideas. Like, I could come up with 5. You got fucking 20. You got 30. The thing you held up hasn't been made for the masses, right? You need the easy button box, right? Where it's just like, scan it, does all the work on the back, and you enjoy the show, and you get some fucking XP points for coming to the show. Then you get a fucking free print, and then you get blah, 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 oh my God, you're backstage because you went to 60 shows because it's on the blockchain. Like, come on, somebody. Can somebody make that, please? Because I know the work.
Yeah.
And I'll happily talk to any VCs who want to, talk about that. Just joking, not joking. because
not joking.
And it's the consumer level connection that is the chasm that once it's jumped, then we're there. But until we're there, it's a fucking big long jump, and everyone's making the tools. It's just that the unicorn thing, unicorns don't happen until they're there, right? Once you got it, then you're like, holy shit, game on. So hopefully some very smart devs are feeling inspired tonight, because let's fucking go.
Get to it, devs. Hit us up.
I've been buying concert posters for 30 years. I get picks from the band or like a set list or these grails.
Some
right?
cool shit.
Queens of the Stone Age set list. I fucking love that thing, right? When we can make that a reality, obviously maybe not physical, but maybe physical. You know,
it could be physical. It should be.
You get the token, I'll fucking send you the set list.
Yeah.
I'd fuck around with that.
Yeah, this is fucking cool, man.
All right, so we just started a project.
Let's do it. Let's follow through with it.
I just want to add, I love the way you broke that down. And I think a lot of times, and we hear musicians talking about why they need the blockchain. But what we need to think about more is like what you were saying, how the blockchain technology can be cool for the person that's enjoying it. Like, hey, you know what? I'm a musician. I could use some sustainability, but fuck it. I'm here to serve. Like, I'm here to make shit, and I want people to enjoy it first. Because if they don't enjoy it, and right now people can't enjoy the way blockchain music is being distributed to them. And I'm saying that as somebody who's fucked around and found out with several different companies. I could say them out loud because I'm not throwing shade at them. They're just still early in development, but none of it is really doing all the cool things that you just said. There's ones that are doing that, and then there's ones that are doing this, but it kind of all needs to be a turnkey solution for an artist to plug into and be like, boom, now enjoy. And I don't know, but it's great stuff. I love it.
I totally agree. And I know people who run some of those music platforms that you're probably talking about. Yeah. And there's just, it's still hard enough that it hasn't been solved. Right. And that's time and fucking around and doing some experiments. Right. It'll happen. Right. If we just talked about it and we said that sounds cool, it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And they can watch this podcast.
Yeah, this is right, dude. I've been saying the same thing, exactly kind of what you said, similar to what you said. I've been saying it, where it's going to take a mega star to come along to actually do something and make it cool, and then all the other people are going to start to follow behind.
Yeah,
It's I want to say, what's that?
It's happened. It actually, I was in an iteration of that with Snoop Dogg. It happened. The thesis started, right? So it's being tested. It's got to.
It needs to come full force.
Yeah.
Yeah. It needs to come full force. It's got to come as like a whopping, whopper, just hit you over the head with a sledgehammer type of thing, like here we are. But this is 100%. You're on point with the thought of it, Coldie, because those physical aspects of things, getting the drumstick or getting the set list, or I don't know, a guitar pick, or even a guitar, even drum set. I don't know, like anything to hang out backstage, hit the green room, all these things add up. And those physicalities are what can help push along the aspect of it, where it's like, the mix between reality and memorabilia, something that, will be with you forever. Like you have art on your wall, right? So I think those physical pieces are going to definitely help in this aspect of the music.
Yeah.
The devs do need to get together, but it also is going to take the idea and concept brought to somebody a musician that's popular, that's willing to take that risk and willing to take it on and say, let's fuck around and find out with it. I wanted to say, we just had Taylor Swift here, did 3 shows, sold out at Hard Rock Stadium, which is where the Dolphins play. Probably close to 100,000 people every night, including you figure the field is the seats as well. So and in the rain and whatnot. So the physical tickets were probably like 139, $200 or whatever. But on the secondary market, they were selling tickets for 2,000 and up a piece. My cousin took her daughter, spent $2,000, sat in the fourth row, spent 4,000, 2,000 per ticket, right? And sat right there in the front row or whatever. You know,
sounds like a pretty good deal. That sounds
people are willing to spend the money.
Yeah, for sure.
People are willing to spend the money. So imagine if you're Taylor Swift and you have an NFT or you have music on the blockchain and that $2,000 or whatever went to her, obviously, and not to a reseller, and you got some cool shit.
Yeah. It's secondary artist royalties. That is the promise of why we all came here, right? And then Taylor Swift realizes that's $200K extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guarantee she's not getting money a piece on the secondary.
Probably something, but
yeah, maybe depending on the company.
No one else's, but
probably right.
Yeah, I was gonna say just two other things real quick. I don't know where you got those ticket prices, Hef, because I mean, I saw that Taylor Swift they were going for like behind the stage was like $4,000, $3-4 grand in Philly.
She probably got it last minute, but you know.
No, I'm saying behind the stage. No, I'm not saying backstage. I'm saying behind the stage, like
sitting. But yeah, I know.
The tickets in the front row are going for like 20,000, 30,000, like that. Like
wow, that's well, she got a good deal then.
Yeah, it's a great deal. But not only that, and I'm not plugging Taylor Swift. I mean, she's okay and everything, but I mean, it blows my mind.
Love her.
This all interests me to how. I'm interested, Coldie, because you obviously are very are a music lover and you're serious about your music. And how do you consume music the mostly? Like, I mean, you might have some vinyl, you might have some special stuff, but how do you normally consume it? And then B, how do you normally find out about, like, hey, I just went and saw Pearl Jam a couple weeks ago. Like you were saying, like, how do you find out that they're coming to town? Like, how do you keep abreast of what's happening with the artists that you consume and enjoy?
Oh man, I suck at that. I used to be really good and would look at I'd open up the fucking LA Weekly.
Look at the back.
Right? So if that tells you how far out of the game I am. But you know, it's always like just mailing lists from like the local clubs in town, or you know, if I like a band, I'll be on the newsletter. But it's so web too, right? I'm not doing it totally properly, I'm sure, and I've missed some of my favorite bands. It's like, what, they were here 2 weeks ago? I didn't even know, right? So I am not totally up on that, but I think, luckily, I guess for me, there's only like 5 bands I would want to see because that's the scope of my bubble. So I could probably see them once every 3 years, and you know, they go on. They're not always touring, so I'll find them.
Gotcha. Now listening though, do you pop in a CD?
Yeah. So mostly at this point, like Spotify is like the easy go-to. I have some like couple playlists, like in my Space Out Art Jam playlist. I'll throw that on. But besides that, I also love watching YouTube videos of like live performances. There's one Radiohead in the Basement.
Oh, great!
Videos. I mean, great. That's often on my screen while I'm creating, because like listening is one thing, but when you can watch them playing it as well, it just does so much more for my brain, like to inspire. It's like, because what I do is I look at these guys, right? And they've played these songs a gazillion times, right? But they're playing it perfectly, note for note, and it's magical, and they're in a groove, right? And you see these guys, and then I start to like kind of vibe off of that. I'm like, I need that feeling right now here, right? So it kind of gets me to like kind of embody this magic that I'm seeing on screen, just to kind of like kickstart the mojo, right? I think audio YouTube videos are like mojo in a bucket.
Cool. one other quick question about this. If you're in your car and listening to music in your car, do you ever use like your phone's assistant, say like, hey, play me this on Spotify, or do you not do that?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm such a fucking boomer. Like, oh god, yeah, I try, but like my kids always laughing at me for like fucking, not doing it.
Now, do your kids use their assistant to trigger their like what they're listening to? Do you ever hear them say, "Hey Siri, play me"?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's on it. Like, he while I'm clicking a mouse, he's like touching my screen. He's like, "Why isn't your screen a touch screen? Like, what's wrong with you?" I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Dad."
Oh man.
Yo, I got to interject with this story real quick. So my girl was over at her friend's house, and they have a little, like a real tiny little girl, very young, and so my girl was reading an actual book, like the kind we wouldn't pick up it. Instead, we'd pick up the Viewmaster. She was picking up a book though. So the little kid went to the book and was like trying to do this with the book, like right. With the
yeah.
Was trying with a regular book, was trying to scroll and pinch screen it. But anyway, it's just funny how the different, like they don't even know what.
No, that's innate. That's what they grew up with.
It's wild.
Yeah.
No, it's always growing. Yeah, I do my best, but man, I still got all my old CDs. I'm still like deep in it, like legacy media. I got shit ton of vinyls. It's more analog than digital, I guess, if I had to choose.
Have you ever thought of adding or mixing the two with your art, like music and art? Like, how sometimes there's you see like I don't know, Skrillex and Jay-Z, you ever thought of doing Coldie and J6? You know what I mean?
I can say that I did a collab with Snoop, straight up collab. And actually I wrote the lyrics for the rap he did on the artwork.
Yeah.
Badass.
Straight up, word for word.
You got bars?
Yeah, I wrote the bars, and they wrote me back. They're like, "That was fucking good."
Fucking
like,
man.
We got to have you do some more. I was like, "Fuck, all right." Like I love Snoop. I understand his vocal cadence and a hook, and like I get it. So I just pretended I was Snoop.
That's great.
And then he fucking did it. I was like, "Whoa."
How did it make you feel?
Gold. I'm sorry.
Yeah. How did it make you feel? Like Snoop is rhyming your lyrics?
Yeah, I even got this little video snippet that they sent me of him like in the booth rapping it. I was like, "Oh my god!" It's like, are you fucking serious right now?
It's
like
so good.
That, like, if there was a bucket list, this is like a separate list. Like,
you wouldn't even have thought to put that in your bucket.
No. But my 17-year-old self in a Honda Civic with my 12s is fucking stoked as shit. They're like
pumping.
Fuck yeah, you did. Right? Like that's like a younger self high five. It's like, did you have
fiberglass? Did you have your trunk fiberglass with the 12s
I didn't
in
do
there?
Fiberglass
With the crossovers and the amps and the tweeters?
I had 12s and I had some like competition level amp that had way too much juice for my 12s. And I rattled, like my parents knew like 2 miles away. They're like, yeah, we knew you were coming. Like
in the Honda Civic.
I rattled like shit, dude.
Hell yeah.
But I still have a little sub in my car now, a little 1 like 7-inch sub.
Gives you a little boom.
Oh yeah, need it.
Hell yeah. So that's what's up. Coldie, man, this has been refreshing for us because, I think you're the first artist, like, art artist on our show.
I'm honored.
And we're honored to have you here. I didn't think that we'd ever have you on. I figured, I'll reach out and see what's up. And here we are. And I'm happy that we made this connection again. And I'm glad to have you on the show. It's been awesome. I would love to have you come back also when you do the music thing, when you do the photos and the 3D photos.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. No, those.
I would love to have you back on for that. And yeah. And give the alpha to our listeners and our community too, because they're music community mainly. So that would be great.
They'll love this, dude. Oh man. Until you've seen a concert photo in 3D, it doesn't even make sense.
I'm
it's
excited.
Just like it's the happiest thing I look at. And I don't even care that I made it. It's just like, oh, so yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be really, really cool. Go ahead, Cookie.
No, I was just going to say, man, and I've just that Eddie Vedder, picture. I think, Hef, maybe me and you can put together an idea, and maybe we'll like give one away on the show in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll do something like that to
That'd be sick.
Put it up there. I think that'd be really cool, like because I think it's just such a great cause, and the whole story of you hearing Eddie Vedder say that, and you making this project, and us talking about a mass artist, a massive artist bringing adoption to the space. I think, Just Riffin, we could do a little bit, take a little bit of that responsibility, maybe share the piece with one of our listeners or viewers.
I would love that. Yeah,
we're gonna
100%.
We're gonna make it happen.
We're just here to help other people. That's the point of this job.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. So we want the best, for music and art as well. And the blockchain, we're here, we're immersed in it. We don't want to leave. And we really feel like, I know it's cliche by now, but we are early, beyond early. We're early to early, really. And I'm happy to be here. Coldie, want to thank you so much for spending time with us. Cookie Rabinowitz, also want to thank you so much for spending time with us. Coldie, I look forward to your future, what you're doing, and that thing that's coming in 2 weeks that you're able to mention.
Yeah.
We're stoked about that. And as soon as that news comes out, we're going to blast it on our show as well and on our timelines because we believe in you, Coldie.
Thank you. Thank you.
And art one day, I'll be able to afford a Coldie piece and have it on my wall.
Well, I appreciate you guys. You're doing the work, right? You're pounding the pavement. You're building community, being positive. It all matters so much. I mean, the music rocks. You guys do cool graphics. It's engaging talk. So thank you guys for putting together a solid production. Thank
you, man.
As Benny says, this is how we build, and it's a fact, right? So, I'll definitely let you guys know when I'm in the throes of that new project and everything else. We're family now, right?
That's what's up, man. And we got to play horse next time, bro, because I can't go out like that. We got to do a part two.
No, we'll do that. We'll play some
part two. Maybe we record it this time. Could be the one,
Yeah. No, you're good. You're not giving yourself enough credit.
Yeah.
You were knocking shots.
That's right. Hey, Cookie, go ahead. I'm going to give you the last word, Cookie, and then we out of here. Thank you again, Coldie.
My pleasure. Thank you.
The last word of the night is Coldie.
Coldie. And if you ever become a DJ, you could be Steve Coldie. All right, everybody. This has been Just Riffin. We do this every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, powered by Rug Radio. Pleasure to have Coldie on our show tonight. My co-host, Cookie Rabinowitz, thank you again. And thank you, Just Riffin fam. We'll see you on the timeline in Twitter soon. Peace, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Just Riffin. Tuesday night, 8:30 EST. Know where we be. Just Riffin. Special guest and second talk. A musicology. Just Riffin. Coming to you live at the same time. Here every week. Just Riffin. Jump in the room. Let's chop it up. It really ain't that deep. Just Riffin.